you're not suffering because you haven't found your divine partner. You are suffering because you are looking for divinity in people who are still fighting their own mind. People always ask me, how will I know when I'll be in a divine relationship? Is this union sacred? Is he divine or is she divine? But nobody asks me the question which matters the most. Am I united with my own self? Because let me tell you the truth that you've been avoiding. It is going to hurt a little and it is going to break all your past beliefs. No human being can complete you. No relationship can heal your emptiness. No soulmate can fix your patterns. And no divine connection can save you from your own mind. Divine union is not something you find, it is something you become. And if you are divided inside, the most divine person will feel like a karmic partner to you. Welcome to the Detachment Circle, where we dive deeper into mindfulness, detachment, and spiritual wisdom to help you live with clarity and peace. My name is Siddharth Das, your guide in this journey to self-realization. Welcome back, my friend. Welcome back to Welcome back to Detachment Circle. This place is not for fantasies. This is not for manifesting the one. It is not for romantic spirituality. This is a space for truth, for inner work, for clarity that liberates you, not comfort you. Today's episode is Divine Union, within or outside. And in this episode, I am going to break one of the biggest illusion people carry. The idea that divine connection is something that happens between two people. It doesn't. It begins and ends inside you. Every relationship becomes divine only to the extent that you are aligned within yourself. So if your relationship feels chaotic, intense, and unstable, it is not destiny. It is not a cosmic test. And it is absolutely not the twin flame drama. It is the mirror of your inner imbalance. Let's dive in deeper. The core lie you are sold about the divine union. People are romanticizing suffering. They are glorifying chaos. They are calling emotional addiction a soul connection. And I understand why. Because pain mixed with intensity feels special. It feels alive. The highs feel so spiritual and the lows feel destined. And you think, this must be divine. I have never felt something like this. But what you are feeling is not divinity. It is your nervous system going into survival mode. And the worst part, modern spiritual space has normalized trauma as destiny. Many times I have heard this, and you might have heard it too. People often say, he triggers you because he's your divine mirror. She pulls away because she's scared of divine love. Suffering is preparing you for something bigger, for a grand union. The push and pull dynamics is spiritual. No, it is not spiritual. It is a trauma loop. It is your attachment wounds dancing with their attachment wounds. If two wounded people meet, their relationship will feel intense. But intensity is not intimacy. Chaos is not chemistry. And abandonment is not destiny. Pain is not purpose. People always ask me, Sid, how will I know if I'll be in divine relationship or I'll be in a karmic relationship? For that, I have already answered that everything is divine. Okay, one is not more divine than the other. Both have the same purpose, to elevate you. One will do it through pain, other will do it through freedom. And the choice is always yours. Anything that destroys your peace is karmic, and anything that awakens your peace is divine. And most people, without even realizing, are attracted or addicted to karmic energy. Not because they want it, but because it is familiar. Your nervous system keeps pulling you toward the same kind of person, same dynamic, same loop, because your inner union is broken. So many times I hear that I always attract emotionally unavailable people, or I always attract people those who are using me financially, or I'm always attracting the people who are initially very good and later on becomes abusive. It is not them, it is you. And let me tell you something very important here. Divine union is not a relationship. It is a state of consciousness. If you are restless, confused, reactive, insecure, obsessed, you will call karmic relationships divine because they match your inner turbulence. And if you are settled, centered, aware, and detached, you will recognize that divine union outside only happens when divine union inside is stable. People don't attract divine partners, they attract mirrors of their internal state. This is why someone can meet a loving, stable, emotionally available person and still feel nothing, because their inner chaos rejects peace. They'll call it boring. And this is why so many people will meet a grounded partner and sabotage it, because their nervous system only remembers the chaos, not harmony. It only recognizes familiarity, not peace. And yes, the hard truth is you don't have a divine union problem. You have an inner imbalance problem. You keep trying to fix your relationship without fixing your awareness. You keep trying to decode things, find signs in them, and read about everything and try to consume all this content just to find the one, just to find your twin flame or the divine union. You keep finding the one without becoming someone who can hold healthy love. Until you become united within, every relationship will feel like a karmic test. Let's try to understand where these illusions actually come from. What is union? Let's try to see it from a Vedantic perspective. We'll go to the root, because if we don't understand the root, we will spend our whole life repairing the branches and the leaves. Vedanta teaches us something simple, powerful, and brutally honest. You are already whole. You only feel divided. And whatever inner division you carry, you project onto love. Okay? So this inner division it is talking about, it is called as avidya or agyan or self-ignorance. Okay, it is a deeper topic and we will have a different session probably for it where I can teach you about this self-ignorance. But ignorance does not mean stupidity. It means simply that I have forgotten who I am. I have mistaken myself for this body, for my emotions, for my fears, for my wounds. For someone said to me years ago, trained me, conditioned me, and I think that that's who I am. I feel that I am this identity what the world has given me. I am this identity that I created to survive. This is all self-ignorance. Because the Upanishad says, Aham Brahmasami, I am infinite. And they don't mean this identity, this ego, is infinite. They mean your true self. Your true self is not this mind you are fighting every day. Not this, not that. But because you cannot see the truth directly, something strange happens. You start trying to find yourself in another human. You look for your missing wholeness in someone's eyes. You look for your safety in someone's presence. You look for your worth in someone's affection. And you look for your identity in someone's validation. And this is why divine union becomes a fantasy. Because people think two broken pieces will suddenly form something cosmically whole. But Vedanta says the opposite. Union is not two souls meeting. Union is the end of the illusion that they were never two. Let me say this one more time because it has the power to change your life. Union is not coming together. Union is dissolving the illusion of separation. And here is where the biggest illusion breaks. People ask me, Sid, how do I know if I am in a divine relationship? If he or she is my divine partner? And I often don't want to reply. And often I try to make them understand that if you think that someone else will complete your inner union, that thought itself is ignorant. If you think someone else will be the reason for your inner completion, that thought itself is ignorance. And Vedanta is not denying love. It is cleaning the illusion around love. Because you cannot unite with someone else if you are divided within yourself. Let me make this more practical so that you understand easily. There are two layers of union. First of all, we have the ultimate union, or Paramarthika is what we call it in Upanishads. This is the highest truth. Atman means Brahman. They are equal. Your inner consciousness is not separate from the source. This union is not emotional. This is existential. It is not two energies meeting or merging with each other. It is recognizing that they were never two. This truth itself will free you. And the second type of union is relative union. This is your daily life. This is the human form. Your relationship, your feeling, your boundaries, your patterns, your understanding, your conditioning. Here, union means what? Here, union means my mind is not fighting my heart. My desires are not fighting my values. My ego is not suffocating my consciousness or my awareness, and my fear is not hijacking my love. My wounds are not leading my decisions. But most people think that they want a divine partner. But what they actually want is a relief from this inner chaos. They want someone to calm their mind, to heal their wounds, to fill their emptiness, make them feel chosen, validate their identity, help them realize that they matter, to fix their loneliness. And when you think of it, when you are expecting so much from our partner, how is it a divine union? That's not divine union. That is emotional outsourcing. You are outsourcing your emotional well-being in someone else's hands. I'll be very direct and I'll tell it to you. If you cannot sit with your own self, then you cannot sit in a union with anyone. Now let me try to address some of the questions which fits perfectly here. We will have our proper Q&A later on, but I wanted to address some of the questions which fits directly here. So one of the questions that was asked to me was, what does divine union demands? Only one thing, integrity. Not perfection, not dramatic surrender, not spiritual poses and rituals. It doesn't need anything, just integrity. You cannot hold divine union if you are operating from your wounded patterns. Divine union demands that you stop lying to your own self. Stop performing, stop clinging, stop begging, stop abandoning your inner self. Divine union demands that you stop lying to your own self, stop performing to your own self. Anything less than that becomes karmic. Not because the destiny has said so, but because your mind was not ready. Here is something for you to reflect upon. Ask yourself, where am I divided within myself? Which part of me is fighting my own self? And what am I expecting a partner to fix in me? I want you to really sit with these questions, journal about it, or record a voice note. Just let the thoughts flow. Because every single reflection can save you from years of wrong relationship, years of pain and suffering. You have consumed enough content. Now it is time for you to execute it. Because knowledge without implementation is useless. And that's exactly why I am creating the Wisdom Circle. It is a community space where we can integrate the knowledge together. It will be out really soon. I'm already working on it. I was supposed to launch it actually a couple of months ago, and I thought of launching it on Instagram, but due to some glitch on the same day, it failed. And I knew then that it is not the right time. Probably my energy was needed somewhere else. And now I realized that it is coming back even stronger on a bigger platform where I be able to guide you in much better way, much deeper way. So stay tuned. I will be announcing it shortly on Instagram. Let's try to understand the real masculine and feminine energy, not gender, not aesthetics, not spiritual drama. And let me be very clear here, most of what people call masculine and feminine today is just aesthetics. They are just hormonal stereotypes or Instagram spirituality with zero grounding. People have reduced masculine energy to be a provider, chase, protect, and feminine energy to be soft, be receptive, and surrender more. This is not spirituality. This is conditioning wearing spiritual costumes. Let's clean this up. Vedanta does not define masculine or feminine the way modern culture does. Okay? There is no such thing as men are masculine or women are feminine. Masculine will lead, feminine will follow. Masculine will chase, feminine will surrender. This is all societal. This is all social programming. This is not a spiritual truth. Because these societal norms are so ingrained in all the areas of the society, in the social fabric itself, where women are reduced to a particular role and men are assigned a particular role. And this goes deep, not years, not decades, but centuries of conditioning. But we are going to the knowledge which is eternal, which is beyond the past, present, or future, which was truth once, which is truth now, and which always be true. And that's what Vedanta is. In Vedanta, masculine and feminine are inner energy currents, psychological, energetic, and existential. And let me show you the real meaning. The masculine is not a man, not a gender, not dominance, not control. Masculine energy is steadiness, it is clarity, it is direction, it is boundaries, it is witnessing, and it is presence. And it is the ability to stay unmoved, unshaken, even in chaos. The masculine is the inner anchor. And here is the part that most people don't want to hear. If your inner masculine is weak, you will fall for the emotionally unavailable partners every single time. Because when you lack internal steadiness, you chase this steadiness outside. You chase someone who feels grounded. You chase someone who looks confident. You chase someone who feels like a structure. You chase what you haven't built inside. And this is why people keep calling emotionally unavailable men, emotionally distant men, masculine. But they are not masculine, they are avoidant. And again, a lot of credit goes to the society, and a lot of blame also goes to the society. And I've heard countless stories of women being so docile, so helpless in front of a man. They keep begging, they keep falling for the same kind of people. Why? Because their inner masculine is weak. That's why they are looking for somebody else with whom they can just attach. They can just make them their entire identity. Their entire world revolves around their partner. That's why they get attached. Surrendering them, worshipping them, begging them, dealing with all the abuse. Why? Because their inner masculine is weak. They want somebody else on whom they can just depend. That somebody else can take all their decisions, tell them what to do, and they just obey. And all these avoidant men are often labeled as masculine. But because when your inner masculine is wounded, avoidance looks like mystery. Mystery feels like depth, and depth gets confused with divinity. Your attraction is not spiritual, it is compensatory. You crave what you do not embody, what you do not have. Let that sink in. Let's try to understand the feminine. Again, not a woman, not softness, not submission. Feminine energy is intuition, feeling, expression, compassion, inner movement, emotional honesty, creativity, life force. The feminine is the inner flow. And when your feminine is wounded, it will show up as clinginess, fear of abandonment, emotional chaos, overgiving, jealousy, hyper attachment, feeling unsafe alone. Feminine is wounded, you chase intensity because intensity feels like aliveness. And intensity keeps you trapped in the karmic loops. This is why many people mistake trauma activation for divine chemistry. It is not chemistry, it is nervous system activation. It feels like destiny because old wounds recognize old patterns. Again, not spiritual, just familiar. And masculine and feminine energies exist in every human. You are not a masculine person or a feminine person. You are a mix of both in different proportions, in different moments. But here is the real problem. Most people are trying to find polarity with someone outside without healing the polarity within. Your inner masculine and inner feminine are fighting. Your flow is fighting your structure. Your intuition is fighting your fears. Your clarity is fighting with your compulsions. Your desires are fighting with your boundaries. Your past is fighting with your present. And the inner conflict becomes your relationship conflict. Because if you are divided inside, you will always attract partners who activate that division. And I want you to remember the truth. You do not attract your divine partners. You attract your inner imbalance. And you call that imbalance love? You call that pain destiny? You call that confusion divine timing? And you call that loop soul connection? And you call that trauma twin flames? No, that is not a union. That's division. That's fragmentation. And let me tell you something that modern world really needs to understand. The divine union is inner harmony, not outer intensity. When your masculine and feminine aligns within you, you do not react, you respond. You do not cling, you choose. You do not chase, you allow. You do not collapse, you hold yourself. You do not sabotage intimacy, you regulate it. You do not see red flags as spiritual signs. You do not confuse abandonment with devotion. Your inner masculine gives you the direction, and your inner feminine will give you the depth. Together, they make you whole, and only wholeness can enter divine union outside. The wholeness will attract wholeness. This wholeness will recognize wholeness. It will remember wholeness. And then you ask me that how can I attract a divine partner? By aligning yourself. Let's try to take some questions which will fit right here. So since I've been getting a lot of questions, so I thought of stitching them during these segments. And also, let's take it easy for a few seconds because I think, today's episode has been going quite intense. I almost catch myself ranting at times. I hope you don't mind. Okay. The question I wanted to answer here was, what is masculine energy in me? As a female, do I need to see myself as a man? So that was a beautiful question and very important. So the answer is no. Masculine energy is not maleness. It is your inner clarity, your boundaries, your stability. You do not need to act like a man, but you need to strengthen your inner witness, the one who is able to ground itself in the chaos. So yeah, you don't have to act like a man. Another question I wanted to answer: how does feminine and masculine balance work in a marriage? Not the way Instagram told you. Now, when you are entering in a marriage with a broken state or a broken inner harmony or inner imbalance, then of course, just by those vows, just by that tie, magically things are not going to work out. Just because you are following certain rituals, rituals are not going to fix your emotional patterns. Right? So, both the partners in marriage need to work on their inner harmony. The marriage, the rituals, or those vows are not going to be enough. Or just because you believed in astrology, or just because the stars were aligned, they are not going to change your emotional patterns and your behavior. You might not like it, That how come when our kundalis were matched, when our stars were aligned, why is it not working? Astrology itself is not going to solve your emotional patterns. So both the partners need to work on themselves. And a divine relationship is two whole people, two complete people, each balanced in their own inner energies, meeting with clarity, not fear. Some days you will lead, some days they will lead, some days you will hold the emotional depth, some days they will hold the structure. Balance is dynamic, it is not rigid. Let's take one more question here before we move on to the next segment. We beings come under feminine or masculine? You come under both. Always, feminine moves you, masculine will hold you. If one is wounded, you will always look for someone else outside to compensate for that gap, which is why divine union is impossible until your inner masculine and feminine stop fighting with each other. I want you to reflect on few things. Take a moment and ask yourself, where do I feel imbalanced? What part of me collapses in love? What do I keep seeking outside that I haven't found inside? Write whatever comes up. Your answer will tell you exactly why your relationships feel the way it is. The next segment is Shiva-Shakti, Radha Krishna, and the truth of divine union, and not the fairy tale version. And let me be very honest with you. When I talk about Shiva and Shakti, or Radha or Krishna, I'm not talking about the deities, I'm not talking about the gods, but the symbol of love, or the symbol of divine union, or this idea which has been sold to you. Because this is one of the idea which people get attached to, that if I go through this twin flame journey or this suffering, I will find a union of Shiva and Shakti or Radha and Krishna, and some people take it literally. I have seen people, especially women, doing certain things, following certain rituals so that they can get Shiva as their husband or Krishna as their husband. They'll go on fasting and perform certain rituals to do that. In a way, it is promoting attachment. All these rituals tie you up with an idea. And here we break down all the ideas and only truth remains. So I wanted to clarify this, that I'm not talking about the gods, but the symbol or the idea that has been sold. Enough with the disclaimer. These days it is important. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. And if you have known the stories of Shiva and Shakti or Radha and Krishna, you have also carried one belief without even realizing it. It was somewhat ingrained in us. And the idea was, my other half is somewhere else. And this belief has ruined more lives than heartbreak ever has. Because in Vedanta, because in Upanishads, in the highest spiritual wisdom, there is no concept of half a soul. There is no concept of incomplete beings. There is no cosmic soulmate who completes you. That is just poetry. Beautiful, but an illusion. It is misleading. And let's try to understand these symbols with the way they were meant to be understood. When we say Shiva and Shakti, it is not a love story. Modern spirituality turned them into lovers, but Vedanta reveals something much deeper. Shiva is pure consciousness, silent, still, unchanging. And Shakti is pure energy. It is movement. It is creativity. It is manifestation. They are not two people. They are two forces inside you. Shiva without Shakti is inactive, dormant. And Shakti without Shiva would be energy which is directionless. Together they represents a union within you, not the romantic union with another person. These are the two forces within you. A lot of times we feel that we'll just own one force and the other person will fulfill the other force, but that is not true. This is a force within us, within that partner as well, within that person as well. And when your inner Shiva and Shakti meet, your life changes, right? And that meeting would be so beautiful. It is intuition with clarity. It is emotion with wisdom. It is desire with discipline. It is vulnerability with boundaries. It is strength with softness. It is love with awareness. This is divine union. Not two bodies, not two souls, not two lovers made in heaven. It is the union of your inner stillness and your inner life force. Once that union happens inside, you stop chasing intensity outside. You stop calling toxic people your destiny. You stop confusing chaos with depth, and you stop labeling emotional pain as spiritual awakening. You stop falling for the twin flame myth. And similarly, if you talk about Radha and Krishna, it is one of the most misused example. They use them as the ultimate love story, and this twin flame believers worship them as a proof of divine lovers destined for reunion. But that is not true. If you see Radha and Krishna in a deeper way, Radha symbolizes bhakti, which is devotion, pure love, unconditional. And Krishna symbolizes Leela, divine play, awareness, detachment. So this union was not physical, it was spiritual. Radha represents the individual souls longing for the divine, and Krishna represents the consciousness itself. The story is not about romance, it is about awakening. And Krishna, if you know him, not as again, as a deity, as a person, he was the biggest promoter of detachment. He showed us the path. If you read Bhagavad Gita, it is all about detachment. And now, with the modern spirituality, we have turned it into an attachment. If I do enough, if I surrender enough, if I devote myself enough, I will find my Krishna. But that Krishna is not that person, it is within you. You meeting your own consciousness, that is the awakening. This union is within, not outside. So what does it teaches us? If your love makes you smaller, it is not divine. If your love makes you obsessive, it is not divine. If your love creates suffering, it is not divine. If your love comes from emptiness, it is not divine. Divine love elevates you, it expands you, it awakens your awareness, it breaks your ego, but not your spirit. Divine love is not dramatic, it is grounding. Divine love is not chaotic, it is calming. Divine love is not a chase, it is a meeting. Divine love is not a karmic loop, it is alignment. It is freedom. Divine love is not about destiny, it is about clarity. Think of your inner masculine and feminine as two energy currents. The Shiva current, awareness, intellect, direction, and Shakti current, emotion, creativity, intuition. A divine relationship is when your Shiva is awake, their Shakti is awake, their Shiva is awake, and your Shakti is awake. When both currents are active within both individuals, this creates a love that is equal, not superior, inferior, not masculine, feminine, not runner and chaser, not healer or broken, not savior and victim, and definitely not teacher and student. And if you'll see, most karmic relationships fall into this dynamics. A divine relationship happens between two conscious individuals, not between two fragmented ones. The more whole you are inside yourself, the more whole your relationship becomes. But here is the most important truth of this segment. You cannot unite with anyone in a divine way until you unite with your own self. This part most people struggle to accept. You keep falling for someone to heal you, to understand you, to see your worth, to mirror your depth, to fill your emptiness, to awaken your potential. It is way too conditional. But no divine union outside will compensate for a broken union inside. Remember this. The union you are waiting for is actually the union you are avoiding. The real divine relationship is between your awareness and your heart, between your inner Shiva and your inner Shakti. Everything outside is a reflection of this meeting. Let me quickly take one question right now. Is divine love real? Does it exist? Yes, but not in the way you imagine. Divine love is not about another person, it is about the quality of your awareness when you love. The more conscious you become, the more divine your relationship naturally feel. And my program, The Karmic Cleanse, helps you integrate exactly that. You become ready for a healthy love. You have this union within you. You are awakened and self-realized to walk on this journey. To love without fear. To live in peace. But it is exclusive and I only take fewer people in it. But if you are interested in working with me, then DM me on Instagram with the word karma and I'll get back to you. Okay, the next question is, how do I know if my relationship is divine? It is very simple. Divine relationship makes you more stable, more honest, more grounded, more self-aware, more free, more peaceful. Karmic relationships will make you anxious, obsessed, insecure, confused, reactive, and dependent. So before we move ahead, I want you to reflect on this. Close your eyes and ask yourself, do I want divine love or do I want a divine excuse to stay with someone who is not right for me? Sit with it, journal it, and meet your truth. Let me say something that will make a lot of people uncomfortable. But again, only truth, like I promised. We will break all the falls. Many of you are not looking for divine love. You're looking for a divine confirmation of your attachment. See, people are not searching for truth. They are searching for reassurance. Yeah. Reassurance that the person they are obsessed with is meant to be. That their suffering is for a higher purpose. That their pain is guiding them towards union. That their intensity is spiritual chemistry. That their anxiety is activation, awakening. But let me be very direct. Attachment makes you blind. Divinity makes you clear. And most people confuse the two. If you are walking on such a divine path, then why it is cloudy? Why it is confusing? Why are you looking for these signs? This spiritual gaslighting you do to yourself. I have seen people destroy their mental health because they saw what? Repeated numbers. They saw repeated numbers or a song that reminded them of someone or a dream or a gut feeling, a coincidence, a pull. And they will interpret it as the universe is guiding me back to them. We are destined. This is a divine union. My intuition is telling me they are the one. I am on a twin flame journey. This is not intuition. This is an emotional bias dressed as spirituality. Let me tell you something with absolute clarity. Your trauma speaks louder than your intuition when you are attached. Your nervous system will create patterns to justify your addiction. Your mind will seek signals to keep hope alive. Your ego will interpret anything as destiny because destiny feels safer than rejection. This is not divine union. This is survival. Divine union is never found by reading signs. Divine union is found by reading yourself. Let me give you a real Vedantic truth. A mind that is not detached cannot receive true intuition. Your attachment blocks your intuition. That's why Bhagavad Gita says, Asakti, Moha, Smriti Brahmash, Buddhi Nash, Pranashyati. What does it mean? Attachment leads to delusion, leads to loss of clarity, destruction of discernment, and collapse of self. What does it mean? Attachment leads to delusion, leads to loss of clarity, destruction of your intellect, and collapse of self. This is the opposite of divine union. And let me tell you more about divine love. Divine love is not dramatic, not obsessive, not unstable, not chaotic, not healing through pain. That's karmic. Divine is ease, maturity, stability, honesty, clarity, depth, emotional safety, peaceful intensity, not chaotic intensity. Divine love does not confuse you. Divine love does not drain you. Divine love does not make you chase. Divine love does not make you shrink. Divine love does not make you doubt your worth. And divine love does not activate your worst wounds. Divine love does not make you wait in uncertainty. If a person is damaging your peace, they are not divine for you. They are karmic for you, and it is very simple. And no science, no coach, no therapist, or no healer can tell you that this is your life. You need to witness it. And the signs are there. Divine union outside is impossible without detachment inside. People think detachment kills love. No, detachment kills illusion, and only illusion free love survives. When attachment says, I need you, divine love says, I choose you. When attachment says, don't leave me, divine love says, let's grow together. Attachment says, you complete me. Divine love says, I am whole and I welcome you. Attachment collapses when things go wrong. Divine love expands through honesty and self awareness. Divine union requires a stable nervous system, a grounded mind, a regulated inner world. Otherwise, you will keep calling your karmic patterns divine lessons. Let's take a couple of questions from our audience. This way, the questions are separated and they are more aligned to the segment. We are trying something new here. Let me know in the comments if you liked it. Alright, the first question is, what if the love feels magnetic? That's great. Magnetism without regulation is addiction. There need to be certain boundaries. Magnetism with awareness is chemistry, and chemistry with compatibility is partnership. So don't confuse the first for last. Right, the next question is, can signs be real? Signs are real. Interpretations of those signs are not. A sign becomes meaningful only when your mind is clear. Until then, everything is a projection. Next question, I feel a pull towards someone. Is it divine? A pull can come for three reasons, or it can come from three places: wound, karma, or clarity. The one that is divine is the third, but most people are stuck in the first two. Before we move on to the next segment, I want you to sit with this question. Ask yourself, are these signs guiding me? Or I am using these signs to justify what I already want. Sit with this truth and it will show you everything. Let's move on to our next segment. Inner union or outer union. Why most people seek the wrong one first. Let's get straight to the point. And I think also this episode has already been longer, and I'm glad that you're still here, you're still listening, you're still absorbing, right? And at any point of time it feels too heavy, you can pause and come back to it when your heart is aligned. Otherwise, let's continue. Let's complete this journey right now. It is uncomfortable, but it is leading us to clarity. Then why do we choose the wrong one? Why do we choose the outer union first? Right? So everybody wants the divine union outside, but very few want divine union inside. Everybody wants a partner who is emotionally mature, emotionally aware, intelligent, stable, secure, wise, loving, deep, consistent, conscious. But if you ask yourself, are you all of these things? Exactly. That's what I get. Silence. You do not attract divine union through desires. Instead of it, you attract divine union through inner integration. If you haven't united with yourself, you will treat any intense connection as divine. And that's why most people fall into karmic loops. Because they are meant to suffer, but they are not aware. Ignorance. So, what is inner union? When your masculine and feminine are not fighting, these forces within you, when your mind and heart are not contradicting, your desires and your values are not misaligned, your patterns and your intentions are not opposite, your wounds and your wisdom are not at war, your need for love doesn't override your need for peace. Your trauma responses don't pretend to be intuition. Your anxiety doesn't pretend to be an intuition. Inner union is not perfection, it is alignment. Alignment between your clarity, your feeling, your thinking, your choosing, your boundaries, your compassion, your ability to detach, your capacity to love. In Vedanta, this state is called Chitta Shuddhi, purification of your inner instrument, inner self. And why this outer union will fail when inner union is not done. Since a lot of you are chasing this union outside, let me tell you why it doesn't work. Because when you are divided inside, you will choose partners who will match your wounds. And you will call chaos chemistry. You will call trauma activation soul awakening. You will call abandonment divine timing. You will call insecurity destiny. And worst of all, you will call suffering spiritual growth. Suffering does not make your love divine, clarity does. And here's the hardest truth I will say today: you cannot meet somebody deeply if you keep abandoning yourself. If your inner world is unstable, you will chase validation, you will collapse in conflict, you will overgive, you will accept disrespect, you will lose your boundaries, you will tolerate emotional neglect, you will confuse control with love, you will confuse intensity with intimacy. You can't create divine union outside from a especially from a place of inner emptiness. So let me paint the right picture for you. What this outer union will look like when your inner union is done. This is the relationship most people think they want, but very few are prepared for it. Divine union with another person feels like safety, not anxiety, depth, not drama, clarity, not confusion, presence, not performance, growth, not depletion, honesty, not manipulation, independence, not dependency, choice, not compulsion, stability, not roller coasters, alignment, not activation. A divine partner does not awaken your wounds, they awaken your awareness. A karmic partner's trigger your pain. A divine partner will expand your peace. But notice this: a divine partner cannot arrive before the divine version of you arrives. Until then, you will reject stable partners and chase unstable ones. Because your nervous system sees familiar pain as love. This is why detachment is the prerequisite for divine union. Even within you, detachment is key. And all these practices, all these theories, all these concepts are making you more attached. That is the reason I decided to speak about it, because a lot of people are living in a delusion and suffering. And divine union is not about being identical. A lot of people think that, I will find a person who will mirror me. You do not need your twin. You need someone conscious. Divine union happens when both people know themselves, regulate their emotions, communicate honestly, take accountability, respect boundaries, choose growth over ego, choose clarity over chaos, choose love over fear, choose detachment over control, choose freedom over control. Divine union is not about perfection. Divine union is about two people who refuse to run from themselves anymore. Which is better, inner union or outer union? Inner union, always. Outer union is a byproduct of it. Okay, always think of it in this way. You do not need other people for your own growth or activation. You do not need that suffering. A lot of times we start worshipping our own wound. We start worshipping our own abuser. Oh, they are at least giving me some spiritual growth. No, there are better ways of growing spiritually. Does inner union guarantees outer union? Not guarantee, but it prepares you and it prevents you from choosing the wrong person again. Divine partners are not rare. Unprepared people are in abundance. Let me quickly take one question. Can a relationship still succeed if only one person is conscious? It can survive, but it will not thrive. A divine relationship needs two awake minds, not one exhausted healer and one unconscious partner. So, should you avoid relationships until inner union is done? No. But avoid relationships that activate your worst patterns. Choose people who support your growth, who would like to grow with you, not your suppressor, not your aggression. All right, it is time for our Q&A. I try to address majority of the questions throughout the episodes. Here are few remaining ones which I would like to address now. In case you want to ask me a question, then you can do it on Instagram. Make sure you join my broadcast channel, The Detachment Circle. This podcast is directly connected there. And also, like I discussed before, I'm already working on a community where I'll be able to guide you deeper, where we can connect more frequently. All right, the first question is, will I meet my divine partner after inner union? You'll meet the right partner when you will stop abandoning yourself. Inner union does not manifest someone, it makes you choose better. It stops you from mistaking intensity for destiny. And when you value yourself so much, then you step into a relationship or you meet somebody as a high value man and woman, right? Anybody who is not matching your frequency, matching your values, will automatically be removed from your life. So, yes, in a way, after your inner union, you will attract the right kind of people. The next question is, can karmic relationship become divine? Yes. Yes. If both people wake up, if both people drop their egos, if both people choose growth over comfort. But it takes two conscious mind, not one conscious person trying to save the relationship. I have seen countless women like that. Please stop bargaining with reality. The signs are there, and it will take two conscious mind, not one. So, if you think that you can turn a karmic relationship into divine, no, it needs two people. The next question is, what if I did my inner work and they did not? Then the union will be peaceful within you, not necessarily peaceful between you. Right? So, this inner work will absolutely be fruitful, especially if you are in a marriage and if you are doing all the heavy lifting. When you do the inner work, of course, the peace will be within you, probably not between you. Inner work gives you clarity, and clarity often ends relationships that do not match your growth. So, divine union is not about attachment, it is about alignment. Is divine union rare? No. What's rare? Emotional maturity, self awareness, accountability, detachment, inner union. The rarity is not the partner, the rarity is the preparation. How do I know if I am confusing intuition with attachment? Beautiful question. Simple test. Intuition will expand you, attachment will shrink you, it will squeeze you. Intuition feels steady, attachment feels desperate. Intuition makes you honest, and attachment makes you delusional. And the next question is, how do I maintain divine union without losing myself? By coming back to stillness, by coming back to awareness, by coming back to responsibility, by coming back to boundaries, by coming back to detachment. The relationship does not replace your inner practice, it depends on it. That would be all the questions we'll be taking in this episode. And at the last, first of all, I would want to thank you for listening this far. Do tell me what did you like about today's episode. And if you have more questions, I will open a Q&A in my broadcast channel pretty soon. I would love to hear your thoughts, even if you think the other way, even if you want to put across your thoughts. Your thoughts are very valuable. Do comment. And in the end, let me leave you with this. Divine union is not about merging with another person. It is about meeting them from the highest version of yourself. If you want a divine partner, you must first meet the divine within yourself. Because when the inner union is strong, you will not be hypnotized by intensity. You will be drawn to clarity. You will stop calling chaos chemistry. You will stop calling pain destiny. You will stop calling suffering spiritual growth. You will recognize that universe is not testing you, it is preparing you. Divine partnership is not a cosmic gift, it is a conscious choice. Choose yourself first, and divine union will choose you organically. Until next time, stay aware, stay free, and stay true to your own self. You were listening to Detachment Circle. My name is Siddharth Das, your guide in this journey to self-realization.